have now weren't the first experience we had. You know, as we went through the process, we were up for adoption. We went into an interview, right?
We did an interview for
another young boy that we had identified that we were going to adopt. That was the first experience, right? We kind of went through all the paperwork and everything, and now it's like, okay, you guys have been selected one of 2 families to adopt young kid, right? So great, right? And then through it, we find out that the other couple was a Caucasian couple, right? But we went through the process. And going into the interview, one of the first things that was striking was you walk in and you've got this panel of caregivers for the kid. Is that a good way of putting it?
So there were the foster mom, the therapist, the CASA
worker,
the social worker, the caseworker. So it was probably a room full of maybe 10 people, all Caucasian,
all white women.
Yeah. And the child that we were up for an interview was a 5-year-old black boy. Our child was maybe 4 at the time, our son, and he was 6. He was 6, 5 or 6. Yeah. So the child that we were up for interview for adopting was about the same age, maybe a year younger. So we've gone through raising a child too, because we also had a daughter at the time. And so we were being asked questions about how we were going to raise this child. And so we were honestly answering the questions from our perspective and our experience on how we would raise a young child, a young black child, to a room full of people that had no clue as to how to raise this child. So we were definitely given, the feedback we were given when we were answering the questions was not favorable. By way of, you could just see the looks on their faces like, that's how you would handle that situation. Yeah. So they would throw things out at us like, he's acting out at school. And so what we're having to do to him is X, Y, and Z. And we would say, well, we wouldn't do that. That's not, because that's not been our experiance from raising our child.
Absolutely. And some of it's cultural that we learn in that process.
In the process, we learned that.
Not necessarily learn, but it was one of those
aha moments so that does play into
family structure, because the way we approach it culturally is different than a white family would approach it. And not to get into what's better or worse or good or bad or indifferent, it's just different, right? And if the powers that be and the folks who are being able to determine where this child will go have no cultural connection to us as parents of color, and coincidentally then to the child, then that raised some concerns for us. And we're going, I remember so long story short, we didn't get a chance to adopt that young man, and we're told that we were passed over for the Caucasian couple, and that was a blow. That was a blow. And the interesting part is, we think about him every once in a while, and the thought process, at least for me, some of it is in light of, and this was pre-Ferguson, this was pre-police brutality, this was pre-law enforcement community engagement, this was almost right after that, there was like this wave of just
He was from Missouri too.
Right, he was from Missouri.
He was from Missouri. We traveled there.
And we traveled to St. Louis to have this conversation. Yeah. But there was this wave of racially charged, culturally disconnected societal things that began to happen that made us go, I wonder if they are going to prepare this, or if they're even able to prepare this young man for the world he is inevitably going to enter. And that bugged us, which why we brought up the point of the people making this decision around the table were obviously disconnected culturally,
just not aware,
and they are the ones who are deciding where this child is going to go, right? And I kind of go back, at 5 he's cute, at 15 he is in your mind a threat, and if he acts out because that hasn't been checked appropriately, culturally appropriately, when he's 5. Then we got a problem. Because no matter what anyone says, the way that the world looks at a 15-year-old white female and a 15-year-old black male is completely different.